Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hopefully you can hear me okay. This is Jake Cunningham. Welcome to another Friday Focus. Today, we don't have any special guests but myself, so you're stuck with me for the next 30 minutes. But that doesn't change my hope and willing that you get something very valuable out of this. This topic of today is a little bit about closing this year of 2016 and going into 2017 with some simplicity and definitely clarity in your messaging in terms of how you share the value that you bring forth, specifically using the quantum biofeedback system. So forgive me, the light is bright in my office today. I even have the shades closed, but the sun is out, and we'll take that here in Michigan. Are you kidding me? We'll welcome it. So welcome, everybody. I want to also state that last week's call, all the webinars, you guys, taking a little time getting those posted. I'm going to show you where I post those so you can go and retrieve the past webinars. But it takes time to organize and edit some of the content. What I try to do is trim some of the fat off them so it's a more enjoyable lesson for you for the replay. As after the calls, you do get a replay link that's good until the next Friday Focus. That's a replay link that comes into your inbox, and what will unfold with that is you'll get your email, and what will happen is you'll have a little replay link. It'll take you back into the Webinar Jam template or format. So that template or format is then it enables you to watch the replay in its exact form, including the chat. And so I welcome you to chat, say hi where you're from, but just know when you do, it's public. So imagine this being a Friday gathering where you take a lunch break and you go down to the coffee house and meet with your colleagues. You're in a public format. So behave yourself, everybody out there. We don't want any troublemakers in the group, but if you do, I welcome you too. No discrimination on this call. You can jump on and raise fire if you want. We haven't had any fire starters yet, but if you're out there, I welcome you to join us. So with that replay, once that's done, let me show you where I post those or where they'll be posted. Now, like I mentioned in previous emails, and what I want to talk to you all about is the replays as I collaborate all this content. I am going to filter out some of the content for which I'm going to request and apply for CEU credit and value when I have people like my father on teaching protocol, or a lesson of mine is valuable in the business practice building elements. I want to see how we can get more value for that. Now, if that's the case, I'm going to charge for it, and it's going to be reasonable, but it's going to be charged. It's the only way I can keep producing and being here for you and getting some good talent on. But right now they're free, and I just want you to encourage you to tap into it. So let's see here. Let me show you where those are. I'm going to share my screen. But today the focus is simplicity. Okay. Simplicity. I want to show you here. Okay, so on whitedoveglobal.com, you see here in the front page, if we will go to the home, you simply just go to the blog. That's all it is. This isn't tough. This isn't secret navigation, hidden pages. You simply go to the front page. I would love any criticism, critique, positive and constructive criticism of my website, what's missing, what needs more. I'm going to be adding a lot of FAQs, things of this surrounding the technology, surrounding marketing your practice, things like this, the focus where I love to share. But if you go to the front page here, Check out the Christmas promotion. We'll talk about that later. Learn about the products to enhance your practice. And then you learn a little bit about us. If you ever want to contact us, you can fill this out. This is, again, for the marketplace, wanting to learn more about the technology. But for existing practitioners, I added this little plugin of the latest blog posts or the focus calls. So it will have the topic, and these are the 4. Now, you can find them right on the front page here, where you then can go and, for example, click on the link here. This is one way to do it. Or from the beginning, simply go to blog, and it will take you to the list of focus calls that are going to be coming in. And then there's an article on the business about feedback and more articles. Today's focus is going to be keeping it simple, simplicity in our messaging, in how we talk about what we do. Okay, so this is the blog. This is where the webinars are going. Now, again, I have the rest of September, October, and I'm finishing November ready to actually publish again, okay? Meaning they are going to be posted here for the weekend. So this is where you can find them. Very simple, easy for you. The technical support forum is growing, and remote support is if you ever need tech support from White Dove, you can simply go to this remote support, that's TeamViewer icon. It'll take you to our branded support page, our commercial account, where it will automatically download a little plugin for you. You open that up, run it, and it will queue in my tech support I call it my tech support department. Right now it's me. I'm training a couple people to help us right now, which is really exciting because it's a dream of mine to offer more support services. That is something that has separated us from other companies in the past, and it's something I want to continue to grow. But this is how you can connect via TeamViewer very easily. We'll go back. So anyway, enough said. That's where you find the Friday Focuses on the White Dove Global blog. Pretty simple. This is a good one. I recall I really want to remind everybody to review Designing a Successful Office Space. There's the character himself, and there's some have download notes. So download here, and you'll be able to pull up the PowerPoint that I reviewed in there. More details. There's sometimes protocols, things of that nature as well. So let's get back to the focus. I'll stop here. Welcome back. Okay, focus of the call. Hey, hi, Teresa from Mexico City. All right. From the UK? Love it. Love. Now, I'm going to pronounce your name, but please forgive me. Is it Elizabeth? Is the T silent? Elizabeth? Elizabeth. Forgive me. I've never heard that name pronounced, but it's a beautiful name. Just curious on how I pronounce it. Snowy Oregon, Connecticut. Beautiful. That's why I love this call. Now, because this call is a little bit more or less lecture, and I want it to be interactive, I want to encourage you all to ask questions. But also, I want to encourage you all to think about really the messaging here and what you've been doing to kind of put a foot in your mouth, as well as what you've been doing that's been working when you share the value of your services. And what I want to do is I want to now, these notes are going to be published along with the video. And this is based off of, hold on one second. Excuse me, I need some water. It's been dry in the house because it's been cold outside. And I have a 3.5-year-old who likes to bring home good little immune testers for me. I'm going to use some reference and notes here. Where I got this concept from was an actual article I wrote a few years ago that talked about how your positioning in the marketplace is sometimes unclear for our practitioner base. But I customized it here a little bit to get more practical in terms of where. Let me just go here now. Like specific example of what we would say at a cocktail party or a marketing event or a networking event that sometimes just turns people away. It turns people off. And so the goal and the focus as we try to get settled in to the busy time of holidays, and then all of a sudden, boom, a new year falls in our lap, and you're bombarded with setting our New Year's resolutions, our goals, all this stuff. I want to focus on getting simple right now about your message of the value you bring for your biofeedback services, okay? And what you may be doing now or what you may be able to improve with the goal of serving more people, right? Let's face it, one of the most difficult and unclear things for new and existing practitioners like yourself is to define what this is in terms of this very complex, amazing technology and what it can do and offer the world. We also know above and beyond almost too much. And this is where less is more, and in terms of how we message and share the value, or at the very least, where we start everybody. Because you have to remember, before you can start talking about how the root of the system is built on quantum physics and how it tests the body with reactivity of over 12,000 items in 3.5 minutes. Your body's electrical signatures communicate with the system, and then you run therapy on here, on there, in your organs, your chakras, and boom, and all of a sudden, you've lost your communication before you even started, before you even listened. Over the past 15 years, I've asked hundreds of practitioners this simple question. So, what do you do? What do you do in your practice? The answers vary quite significantly. Most will ramble on about all the amazing tools that they have in their tool belt, that they have in their toolkit. Their certifications, their history, their background, and all the neat products they carry. Some nutritional, supplemental, some light therapy, some low-level laser, biofeedback, electroacupuncture, all those little secret gems that we work with. Now, this is great for me as a partner of theirs, as somebody who is really a business partner of yours. I'm here to have to give you sound advice on different technologies that I may or may not be familiar with, on marketing strategy. You consider White Dove and Jake Cunningham as really a partner of yours. I'm a industry partner. So to that's interesting to me, because I understand, okay, great, those tools, I'm familiar, I'm informed already about what those tools may do and how they may benefit someone. But to tell you the truth and to be real frank with all of you right now, people don't care. They don't care really about you. I hate to say it. Now, it doesn't mean they don't love and like you and respect you, but they may not know you yet. They sure as hey do not care about you talking about yourself or all the amazing gadgets you got. They don't. They really don't. I'm sorry. They don't. I know that may be a little disappointing because you've invested hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not in some cases hundreds of thousands of dollars in these tools to help you connect with people better and serve them. So how could someone not care? Well, it's just basic psychology. This is a cliche, but you've heard it a million times. The audience in your marketplace, even at that cocktail party, when you ask your spouse's colleague at work or your cousin you never connect with or you see just once a year, or your family or your friends or new people, when you small chat and chit chat and you open the door of connection, this is why people don't remember names, because they're too focused on their own name. Even you get trapped in that talking about yourself. So you really need to tone it down, simplify, and get a very clear statement, a very clear message of who you are and what you do. And that what you do isn't the technology. It's not the horses you ride or the cars you drive. It's that you help get people from point A to point B. I'm Jake Cunningham. I help practitioners acquire and implement tools that transform lives. My name is John Doe. I'm a stress management specialist. I help people commit, transform, and achieve the health and wellness of their dreams. Whoa! What the hey? How do you do that? Well, I do that by blank. I got this. So my point is, start vague and big and grand. And if people are like, oh, I don't care. Well, then guess what? You saved yourself a lot of time and energy, didn't you? Now, if people go like, whoa, my gosh, how do you transform lives with what you do in your practice? Well, let me share. Are you familiar with blank? Are you familiar with biofeedback? Not even quantum. Leave quantum out the door. It's irrelevant to them. They don't care. It's relevant to you, right? Because you need to know how your products work. You need to be an expert at the features, the benefits, the application of use, the safety, the legality, the compliance, the research. All that matters to you. But to them, they don't care, especially in the chit chat at the grocery store, a party, so on. No, go in there with the label and the badge. I am Jane, Life Transformation Specialist, or Stress Detective. Like, I love to, there was a practitioner, and I don't think she's practicing anymore, but she was the stress detective. I loved it. What do you mean a stress detective? What does that mean? Like, so you want to spark inquiry and then listen and learn and get to know what they already know. So a perfect example of this would be, Jake, what do you do? Well, I own a company, my own company, and we help practitioners acquire and implement life-changing health technologies. Are you familiar with any form of biofeedback? Yeah, actually, I invented my own system, Jake. I have 15 patents out there, and I'm on the board of the American Biofeedback Association. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad I didn't say anything more, because I would have looked like a fool, wouldn't I? Or, no, I've never heard of it. I have no clue. Or most likely when it comes to your tools, yeah, I've heard of it. It's kind of like, well, I've heard of it before. It's been around for a while. Well, yeah, it's similar to, well, you're familiar with the new weight scales that measure resistance in your body fat, or a heart rate monitor. Oh, yeah. So what does that mean to me, though? How does that benefit me? You have to always answer their question unconsciously that's asking, what's in it for me? Why does that matter to me and my family? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that people are all selfish and only care about themselves. This is something that we're conditioned to do by the bombardment of sales offers we get. And I'm going to be doing something Monday or Tuesday. I'm doing an open house on the sales promotion going on for the Eductor. And I love Budapest. Like, they're great. I love working with them. Their products are what I built my practice and my business around. But they twice a year shoot out an email with prices without building any value whatsoever. It's kind of like, what do you do? Well, for $100 an hour, I do biofeedback. Well, what are you talking about? Well, I don't care about the price. I never asked for a price. I'm going to go over why you should and why you shouldn't upgrade. So what is the value of upgrading and why you don't have to, more importantly, because there's a misconception every time there's a promotion special or a new system that comes out, you have to jump on the bandwagon, and you don't. And I'm going to be the only one probably ever in the industry to tell you straight up, you don't. You're okay. 5, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, when you bought your Skio, it was the greatest thing from sliced bread. So, greatest thing since sliced bread. So what happened? Is it just not relevant anymore? Not at all. There's some things I encourage and recommend you do to stay on top of, like software, things of that nature. But when it comes to hardware, you don't have to do it every time. I'm going to go over the reasons why the people have, what value that's brought to them. What are the big questions and objections? Is the price worth it? Well, it is for some, but it isn't for others. These are the questions. How are the different options you can do it? What does the process look like in terms of trade-in? Do you have to be without your system? Is there financing? These types of things we're going to go over, but not today. We're keeping it simple regarding your messaging. I'm going to get back to the simplicity. So by the rambling of the answer that came back to me about all the things and tools they use, it's great for me, a partner of theirs who does care about all of the great tools they have. But if I was a prospective client or buyer, customer of their services or products, I would immediately feel disconnected. The building of a strong relationship, it wouldn't be established or let's say kick-started yet, would it? I would think to myself, man, this person likes to talk a lot about themselves and Mr. Know-it-all, right? Remember, there's power in holding on to your secrets and how your gifts work and how your program, let's call it your formula of success, all the tools, the biofeedback, the supplementation, your credentials, your workflow, how you treat your customer, that is all part of your recipe of success for the individual, right? Why in the world have they haven't proven they haven't proven themselves to actually give them that yet? You need to qualify people. And so thinking of this simplicity and qualification, it not only saves you a lot of energy and time, it's going to save you a lot of money. And you're going to build quality over quantity. The last thing you want is to overhype yourself. Have someone come in with expectations out of the park and they never connected. That is a long-term commitment. Peeling back those layers of onion of the wellness, let's call it, bubble that they're living in, isn't an overnight one-click fix. So you do yourself a disservice by overdoing it up front. Now, a personal story, because I want to make sure that I'm not coming from a place of preaching without experiencing. I got into this industry out of sheer enthusiasm, understanding it, but from a bird's eye perspective in terms of my dad worked with Professor Nelson, and I got an inside scoop as well as being a client. So I did speak from a clientele perspective, but the way I messaged it when I started with Quantum Life in Santa Barbara, Karen and Ryan Williams at Quantum Life was great. They hired me when I was still in school playing football, and I sheerly just enthusiastically sold this. Went over all the features, never truly listened to people, and just spat out sheer just chaos. I call it the quantum chaos sales method of selling the systems. But I was successful anyway because most people came to me who were already informed. So they were already almost close to that purchasing line, right? They already came to me from referrals. This is like your referral base, everybody. When you get personal referrals, which many of you build your practice around, and I encourage you to do so, that's the best, most, let's call it, direct way to build a successful practice is from a trusted source, because people are coming to you from a place of being informed. They've already had a session, or they trust somebody that has had a life-changing, let's say, connection with you, or sessions and experience. But what I'm talking about is for that, the people that are below that. I'm not, and the people below that is about 80%. You know, the people that come for referrals, if you're living off referrals, you're about 10, 20% skimming the surface. Now, you may be full-time and all you can handle. That's great. But when you're talking to that other mass of people, you need to be more general, and you really need to listen. You need to listen because that mass of people are people that have problems that you could solve, but they may not know you yet. They may not know that they can trust you yet. And they may not know, that those are the two main things. And they may not know what you even offer, right? So that's the discussion we're having here. So unfortunately, when you spit it all out, it moves people away from you. It doesn't attract people because people really don't care about you or your credentials or extraordinary products, devices, lights, needles, special gifts, until they really know that what you offer can really benefit them. This doesn't mean people don't care about you or they don't want to establish trust. Most people do, right? And of course, people are so flexible. Like my story told you about my enthusiasm, people saw through that. They knew this kid is a young sales guy. He is talking way too much. I don't care. I just want what's in it for me, and I want to trust a company and a person who's going to have my back. And yeah, Jake talks a lot, but guess what? He has my back. And that's how I built that rapport and establishment. I could have been so much more powerful if I would have listened and stopped and asked these critical questions of, what do you already know about this work? Do you know anybody that's seen or experienced a successful session before? Because that it will tell you exactly how to guide them or take them or ask them to join you for the next step. Subconsciously, they're asking themselves, what's in it for me? Can this service opportunity make a difference in my life? Your marketing strategy or focus, or let's say in this case, your elevator pitch, should be focused on answering the basic questions for which you know they are asking themselves, which is, who is this person? Do I like them? Do I get a good energy from the bat? There's that first impression that's very on a subconscious level. And do they care about me? Because if you think about it, they're asking themselves, do I have time to listen to this? What is this character? I have to do that. People really are always coming back to thinking of themselves. You have to honor that. And the best way to honor it is to ask them a question, because people love to share about themselves. And the next time you're at a party, I want to give you some homework. Try this exercise. It's tough. I try to do this and it's almost impossible because I'm an introverted, I'm extrovert. I work by myself here, but I'm a very extroverted person. So when I get around social, I love to stimulate conversation. But try this exercise. Try not to, try to hold your space, hold your, that space yourself, and just discover things about people. Only ask questions, answer questions So if someone says, "Hey Jake, how you doing?" "I'm doing great." "How are you doing and how is your project going along?" Meaning, give it that 20-80 rule, letting them talk to you. Try it. Try to listen and try to ask. When people ask what you do, well, I do this. I change lives. I do it through these methods, and I've seen amazing results. What do you know about this? What experience have you had with biofeedback before? Or nothing. Great. Well, come see me. I'll give you 50% off. But you better do it this week because no, I'm just joking. Okay. Your marketing strategy focus on your elevator pitch should be focused on answering these basic questions. Like, what's in it for me? Is there any value of this? They want to know the value's coming and see you and your tools before they see you and your tools and how to get there. You have to paint that destination of success. Like, I help bring people from A to B successfully, right? When you call that, let's say you're renting a limousine or a chauffeur or even an Uber or a cabbie. Say you live, or you're calling a friend to drive you from point A to point B, right? What you're doing is you have a need that you need to go from point A to point B. So you're hiring someone to help you facilitate that. Now, I'm talking about people who know they need to get from point A to point B. That's that big, large group that you want to focus on. The oblivious that don't even know where they're going, well, that's where you get even more general. But we're not going there. We're not talking about the oblivious right now because there's enough people who know they need help naturally without drugs, non-invasive therapies that you offer people through your lights, through your biofeedback. These are the people where you have to define you're an expert at getting people from point A to point B. And it's safe, you'll have a good time, and you'll have fun. The last thing they care about when people call up Uber and say, I need a ride down to the airport, is what car do you drive? What's the model? How fast does it go? And what else? Is it a 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder? Is it an electric car? Doesn't matter to them as long as it's safe, as long as it serves the purpose. Because there's an assumption made when you hire a professional in the service or industry that they, as a professional, who are willing and courageous enough to step into the marketplace and say, I can help you from point A to point B, there's an assumption made by the consumer that that person has invested in the right tools that are safe. And if not, the market will dictate if that person's in business anymore. So you don't have to talk about the tools. You have to know about them if they ask. If they ask you, how does it work? You go into detail. But you just don't have to waste your time talking about all the great features that you may need to know if you're purchasing the system to use. There's a difference. If you go to a car dealership to buy a vehicle, well, you need to know the warranty. You need to know that there's no recall on the system. You need to know what's the top speed and how many people you can fit in there because you're opening up your chauffeur business, right? But the people jumping in who are going to the party, the Christmas party that you're helping take them to, they are not thinking about what kind of car it is. As long as there's a nice warm seat, you're not a complete a-hole and you're gentleman-like or a kind host. That's all you need to do in terms of sharing with them. So here's the example I'll give you. Okay, let me give you an example of what not to say when someone this holiday season asks you, so what do you do? Or what are you doing? What do you do for work? Okay, what do you do is that question. Here's what not to say. I do quantum biofeedback, nutritional supplementation, homeopathy consultation, where I connect you to a head harness and limb straps, and then we test your reactivity to over 12,000 electrical signatures for different biological substances like bacteria, fungus, viruses, and other biological components and emotional elements too. The state of the art system and tools I use and the biofeedback system runs through a series of programs that help the body relax, reduce stress, retrain, and re-educate the body, helping manage with stress and other factors. So there's blah, 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 blah. You're not reading a brochure when people ask what you do. Out of that, there were some gems though. And this is where I'm not going to crucify. I'm going to actually point out that you got to the point of what they care about: reducing stress, managing, re-educating the body, stress. That's what connects. Whoa, there's a lot there, okay? A lot of wasted words and energy for which would scare someone away who hasn't already been familiar with your work. And if someone is or is familiar, well, guess what? You just bored them to death, because remember, they don't care about you. Now, I mean this in that sense, and because I want to drive it home, is that when you go into that room and you see these individuals, take a deep breath, be confident, and don't feel you have to talk and say a word, because what you have is locked in there and is gems about how your systems work. Don't give it away. You've invested thousands of dollars into the system. People have to come and commit. But how will they do that? It's not because of the amazing system itself. It's because of what the amazing system does in your whole collective, which when those results based on that, that's what people care about. Okay. So a good example of this is real simple. So what do you do? What are you doing? Well, I opened up my practice where I help people transform their state of health and well-being for the better. Whoa. What do you mean? What? How do you do that? You want to get a how do you do it, right? So how, and if you don't, what that tells you is that, hey, what you've left in their mind, you've programmed and downloaded, is that, okay, Jane is a life and health transformation person. Okay, that's all they need to know. That may mean nothing to them. They could be an optimal health. They could be in the same, career where they think they're better than anyone. Oh, okay, whatever. But wow, if I'm someone and I hear that and I am familiar with the industry, I'm going to ask, well, what tools do you use? Or if I'm somebody who's looking for an alternative because I'm sick and tired of the doctors cutting me open, drugging me and radiating me, and putting me in a box, or my family members or friends, I'm going to ask, well, what do you do different? How do you do that? Can you show me? And you say, yes, I can, but not here. I want to go, let's go have a glass of eggnog and whiskey and celebrate the holidays. But guess what? I do want to hear more about you and why that would be important. And I want to invite you to come in and have a 15, 20-minute consultation with me on me. Come in. What day works for you? Pull out your phone, get them in the calendar, and go have a good time at the party. Okay? Don't get into it. Get to know them. Build the rapport and relationship. Do not saturate people with how your tools work. It's boring unless they're in the game, right? Unless they're a colleague and they're in the game too. It's a different discussion. It's a different audience. That's my point, and you'll get more information in this article about specifics. One last point is, as you grow this and you get out there with your other marketing collateral, well, your website, your business card, and the messaging gets clear, on point of what value you bring, that's what people will think of when they hear your business name or they hear you, and they'll think in that. And it's important too to re-educate and remind the people that are already your believers, your clients. Ask them to share your information with this languaging. Train them. Just like you train people in the seat to take ownership of their stress, retrain them on how to share what you do. Remind them of what you do. That's the best way to do it. For example, there's some simple examples. When we think of Google, what do you think of? Now, there's a lot of aspects to Google, and don't get into the corporate monster and capital. I'm just talking, when you think of Google, you think of, well, it's a web search, right? You think of web search and the ability to access information easily. Microsoft, you think of PC software. Apple, you think of great consumer devices. Amazon, you think of online shopping. Your company, you think of what? And that's something for you to answer. But simplify. Go into this new year having a very simple message that you can wrap around. And remember, it's not for the experts in your industry. It's for the people to get clear. So I'm going to look at some of the messages. Okay, smart move, Yvonne, because your devices are registered. Okay, here we go. I'll go back from the beginning. Jake, do you know the best place to get basic certification? Great question, Yvonne. There's a couple places that I recommend and sell with my packages that I offer, and one is the Quantum Academies. This was the original training with the Quantum Alliance when we worked as a group. Nirvana Smith, Dave Cowan, actually Gage Tarrant had a lot to do with the training curriculum. She's now doing her Institute of Stress Sciences, which is another great. She has a basic certification, but the Academies is good. There's no perfect online training. The system was really designed to be taught through an apprenticeship model, but that's just not the case anymore. The Academies, Quantum World Vision has, has basic navigation, does his Facebook, but not always learning now. Yes. So the Academies, and I'll define that. Great, Christine. Thank you for the, you're right on there. When it comes down to the Academies, it's navigational. There is a compliance coaching element of what to say, what not to say. There's a basic biofeedback segment. And then there's a beginner's navigational training and advanced. The full thing is around $2,200, like retail. If you ever want to look at that, call me. I'll hook you up and give you my savings. When it gets Institute of Stress Sciences through Gage Tarrant, she has a base, I think it's, what is it called? Basic operations, I think. It goes through some of the fundamentals. I don't know what the cost is. That is certified, I know, recognized too through a different body of certification. Immune through DESI's, which came up here, is a wonderful. I've been in practice for 17 years, but do not have a certificate for it. Looks like Immune University would be the place. Immune is great, but Immune University, and this was a big like Facebook dialogue going on. Immune University is a wonderful body of natural medicine education. Okay, learning these theories and fundamentals. What it doesn't supply to this day today, and it will, I think, because Desi understands the calling for it. It's kind of a hot sweet spot all at the same time. Is the need for navigational training. So if in your case, Yvonne, you may you could talk to my dad too. He's taken the Immune PhD. He's gone through the entire course and took him, gosh, I think a year of diligent training of study, a few hours a night. So, but that course, from my understanding, and unless they've changed it, Desi hasn't shown me where they show navigational training. Okay, in this program, in the NLP, let's go through the buttons and show you why. No, that's more navigational training taught by ISS or the academies. And that there's another course that isn't out yet, but Carol Wilcock has information she sent to me, and it's an amazing course. But the content's just beautiful, but the visual is not there because it was shot with a camcorder on the screen, and there's no true live software navigation recording, like Screen Camtasia type thing. So Desi thinks Immune's the best. You're right. But learning basic navigation is still necessary and important, I'd add. And it's possible to get certified. Jake, can you give me the name of the BANIF? Oh, yes. I stay with or something like that. Yeah, it's the BANIS. Let me show you here. On that note, let me show you the academies. I'm going to Can you guys see my screen yet? Should be able to see it here. So if you go to the quantumacademies.com, they do light therapy training as well. And I'm excited to be getting some of the lights through In Light Wellness, to be able to support you all too. So if you're interested in understanding light therapy, I'm going to be starting to do some exciting things with my colleague, Karen McIntosh, as well as Ginger Bowler, old trainer. She trains in my hometown, Boulder. So if you go to the Quantum Academies, and then let's see here, where is the BANIS certification? This is the basic certification. It's an online course. Takes you through the steps. And then I want to answer your question of the certification. Here it is. So you can get, this is the BANHS. Let's go here. The Board of Advanced Natural Health Sciences. And this allows you to do that. I'll just plug it in there. You can do your own research and call the academies, or you can call me too. I'd love to help you with that if possible. This goes about us, and then the renewals, the different practitioners. It's really basic. I think that could be listed under the practitioners here. There's two certification types too. There's certified biofeedback technician, CBT, and then specialist. And the major difference is this component going beyond the beginner's course. And adding the biofeedback. Well, after the technician, here we go. After the technician application, you can apply for the BANIS liability and listing. But then to complete the advanced CBS, Certified Biofeedback Specialist, you go on with the anatomy physiology course. Now, this is something you can be grandfathered into if you've taken anatomy and physiology. You just have to show proof, your transcripts or proof of completion and passing of the course at a recognized body of education. It could be a community college or your undergrad at a university. Competency hours, 300 hours of practicum, which include, so in your case, Yvonne, 17 years, you've probably did 30,000, if not more, hours of practicum. Advanced course, and then completion of the coaching course, and then exam, and then the advanced application. So hopefully that helps. Immune is a little tricky in terms of the, let's just go there, of really what's involved. I wish they'd do a little better job explaining the curriculum better, but let's go there. So here's a map, here's Immune. You can try to log in or sign up and see. So, okay, courses. Looks like there's, okay, international degrees, licenses, and certificates, or the diplomat. Biofeedback board certificate. If we just look at the certificates, international degrees, evidence-based certificates and awards. So it looks like well, this is the curriculum. So, but then international certificates. It's just not, let's just say it's not clear. I'm not going to judge anything because I've seen the course. My dad's taken it. It's thorough. There's tons of great information. Is this great? No, it's not. And I've told Desi and Brad knows how I feel about it too, the dean. I'm like, clarify this. So international biofeedback certificate, certificate in medicine, certificate in naturopathy, homeopathy, acupuncture, quantum healing, degrees, doctorates in biofeedback and homeopathy. Okay. General medicine department, tuition term 4 years. Homeopathy, biofeedback, 1 to 2 years, 1 to 2 years. After graduation of the university, students are granted the MD diplomas of an international standard. The instruction language is English. Instruction places are chosen around the world with home study available and encouraged. The tuition fee is $2,000 per year. So what does per year mean? So the longer it takes you to take it, the more you pay. Just questions that they could help with. So there you go. There's that. I'm not going to get into judging the education. I just want to answer a question. Smart move, Yvonne, because our devices are registered as medical devices, so I feel having certification. Absolutely. Having a certification is important because you want to, it shows efficacy, it shows credibility when building that trust. And it's important for you, I think, too, to see and to, in a way, I know most practitioners aren't achievement driven. Okay. It doesn't matter what awards you get, this and that, but to be recognized and achieve a status in your industry and specialty that backs that you are an expert, I think is important. And that's something to share about. That's something to share with the world once you get that achievement. The lights are great. I use them every day. Awesome, Teresa. Great confirmation. I've been familiar. I've known David Malone, the owner of Enlight, for many years. I know that industry has gone through an up and down and all around, like many. I don't know the details or the specifics, but what I've learned is that it doesn't, to me right now, it doesn't matter as long as their integrity is intact and their products fulfill the promise and they will live up to their word, which they've done this far. So for me, I don't want to get into the politics of it. I will, if any of you want to, but I just don't know a lot about that. So you could probably inform me, but I care not to. Call me with something positive to say if you're going to call me, unless I offend you. But perfect, everybody. And then what I want to do is I want to do a little prelude for this Tuesday. I'm going to do this, really, it's like an open house workshop. I don't know if I'm doing it in the afternoon. I'll probably do it around lunch, but I'm going to do, and it'll be recorded, but I'm going to do a open Q&A and pros and cons to upgrading your equipment so that there's a more constructive discussion about the value of upgrading. What are the pros and cons? What are some of the features? What are some of, where's this camera? What are some of the features of this box versus the other boxes, right? Is it worth it for you? is the question. And to some, yes, it is. And it depends on a lot of factors, and we're going to go through that. But I encourage you to ask questions, and you can send me specific questions you have before then. If you do, you can send them to jake@whitedoveglobal.com. So with that said, everybody, any other questions, any tech questions? I'm going to fill up this hour here. So I'll be on for another 5 to 10 minutes hanging out with you. If you need to go, have a wonderful weekend and have a positive, successful rest of your week here as you wrap stuff up, and enjoy your weekend. For those who have any other questions, please stay on and I'll hang out with you for a little bit. So. Thanks, Sandra. You're welcome. Thanks, Kata. Hi. Asmina, hi there. You're welcome. Oh, and something too is my dad's Q&A. Those are CEUs. I'm going to show you real quick. Those Q&As are back live. There's a plugin that was all screwy on his site that they got, I think, fixed. So let's go back here. White Dove Healing. It's not my sister or my cousin company. It's my father's company. So it's my dad's company. It's a dad company is what it is. A father company. And mother. Stepmom Patricia. For those of you who don't know, Patricia is actually my stepmom. And of 20 plus years. And I love her like my blood mom. I don't like to call someone a real or fake mom because there's real blood moms that aren't moms at all or dads. So, but just so you guys know, Patricia's, stepmom. My dad remarried, Patricia in 90, I want to say 94, 95 or so, 93. And they've built this really cool practice together. It's a success story. So if you go here to the White Dove Healing Arts for practitioners who have an account, register for one if you need. If you do, you can, once accepted, you can use this new practitioner speed checkout form. And it's what it is the whole, well, it's kind of like that document you get when you become an HTC coach. You can fill out and place an order. It's like the order forms you fax in, but you can do it right here. One page, easy checkout. But education, online training, and the White Dove Q&As, the replays. And you can purchase the course. It's free. Or you can just look at the free previews, which are the calls. So for example, I know they were going, this one explains it. I thought they all did now, but just click in there and this is a 2-part series Q&A.
First order of business here, steadily relying in regards to this, because so the amperage.
This is all CEU credit worthy that you can tap into. I recommend buying the course, and it's not, I don't think there's a fee to it unless they added one. I encourage them to do a fee, but they didn't, but that's okay. just like I'm not. It's all good. My dad loves to give it away. So if you check out and log in, you can then check off these that you've completed, and it will be a nice reference for you when you need to submit your continuing education units. Right? So I encourage do that. That'd be good. A parent company. There you go. Love it. I mean, technically they're not a parent company and there's no entity sharing, but you're right. A parent company. My goodness. Why didn't I think of that? Deanna, you're really a genius. I would call you, well, you're a quantum practitioner, aren't you? I learned to never underestimate our community, but I'm just playing with you. But you're right, parent company. And then, of course, for those of you who are in the market for checking out the promotion, please go ahead and you can go right up here to the sales promotion. And the details are there. What I did is, many of you got emails from Budapest with the euro transfer rate. But what I did is, if you go to the front page, go to the sales promotion, what I did is convert it and then round to the closest, I thought, adjustable where the market was going, US dollar, so that it's in US instead of euro. And then they sent me and created a nice promotion to work with me as an official distributor and partner of theirs. So here it is. If you are interested, go here and fill this form out, and then I'll contact you. We got great financing. If you go financing, you can check out payment options, no cost at all. You're going to get maybe a follow-up email by me if you do this, but contact me first and let's decide if financing makes sense. Yet you can find this out yourself. If you want to finance 20 grand, just calculate my options. So if you put in here 20 grand, you just enter your email and you'll get an instant quote. Now it's not accurate because the application, or you can simply apply without those simple steps. And Crest Capital is the finance company, direct lender. They're awesome. They've helped my people, you. So that's something to keep in mind. But first, contact me, send me an email. This will connect with me and help if you do it here. So create a custom quote. Again, these prices do not include any computer or additional training. Most of the upgrades don't need it. You've already been trained or certified. But you can also download this by clicking right there on that promo. So why am I doing this? Why am I trying to sell you? Well, because this is how I live. This is my service. This is what I love to do. And guess what? It's not selling when it's something you love to do. It's sharing. And that's something to leave on when you simplify. Be passionate. Be simple, yet passionate about what you offer. Be simple and passionate about what you offer moving into the new year. And I think it will make a healthy adjustment to you sharing your services with the world. So I wish everybody a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourself. Do something fun. If you need me, I'll be around. My wife's really good friend who's in the Coast Guard, Nicole, she's coming back today, and I think we're going out to dinner somewhere with Little Man. And then tomorrow, I think there's a Christmas party somewhere to go to. Like, I'm Mr. Social, but I don't really like to plan that much social. Am I the only one there? Maybe it's just a guy thing. I don't know. I won't classify and categorize males in one category or another because we're much more dynamic than that. That's too easy. That's too limit low brain consciousness. But there's definitely some stereotypes that hold true in my family. Like, I don't like going to the mall anymore. I don't know if I'm the only one, but the mall kind of intimidates me. And it's not because of fear of any type of terrorism happening or things like this that the media wants to pump into us. No, it's that I think I'm more comfortable in a very clean environment, even though my office isn't as clean as it should. It's so much distraction. I get overwhelmed. I know I'm not the only one who feels that, but I wish you all just a wonderful weekend. Blessings to you. Keep in touch. Holler if you need. Until next week. And I'm going to do this next week. I'm doing this every week, you guys. I'm showing up. Okay? Whether it's a positive recording or it's a message specific, you can count on me being here one way or another, unless an act of the Creator removes this little webinar software from this existence. I'm showing up for you. And so know this, that you can ask questions. You can send them during the week. You can ask live about any doubt, any fear, any problems you're having. I want to give you a source that doesn't have all the answers, but is someone who does care. And I do care about you finding the answers in your realm, in your workflow, in your life, practice, business, serving people. And you have a source you can trust. You have a source you can believe in that you may not like, but I don't really care if you like me. I care if you get value from me. Do you like me? That feels good. I'd like to be liked. We all do. But most importantly, I want you to know White Dove Global isn't going anywhere. And Jake Cunningham does give a blank about us. And that's my goal for 2017, is to keep showing up consistently, adding better value for you, and keep being a little spark of and a reminder that you're not alone. Okay, there's other individuals who are out there doing this great work and service. So keep up the good work, everybody. Blessings to you all. Love you. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.